Hello, Q family. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barca. In this video, we will talk about a huge bomb at Barca. But before that, we have other topics that are also very important for our beloved club. Let's move on to the first one. Barca is preparing for the departure of Frankie de Jong, the Dutchman with 1.5 fee out of Camp Nou and a $70 million offer on the table. In the Camp Nou offices, a redefinition phase is underway with the arrival of Hansi Flick as the new helmsman of the project. Important decisions are being made that will mark the team's path for the coming seasons. Among these decisions, one stands out strongly, which not long ago seemed unthinkable: the departure of Frankie de Jong. The Dutch midfielder, recruited in 2019 as one of the great promises of European football, is closer than ever to leaving the Blaugrana entity. The club has received 2 concrete offers for his services, and according to sources close to management, the most solid and tempting proposal is from Manchester United, ready to shell out €70 million for the Dutch international. This amount has been well received by the club's top executives, and especially by the new coach Hansi Flick, who considers the operation beneficial both sportingly and economically. The German technician has carefully evaluated the Dutchman's performances in recent years, and although he recognizes his talent, he does not consider him indispensable in his tactical scheme. Since his arrival, Flick has made it clear that he is looking to build a team with more verticality, speed in transitions, and high pressing ability. In this context, Frankie de Jong, with his composed style and tendency for long drives, does not fully fit into the playing idea that the new coach wants to establish. Therefore, he has given the green light to the management to negotiate his departure. Joan Laporta, the club's president, has not been slow to take matters into his own hands, aware of the financial situation that still limits Barca. He sees the sale as a golden opportunity to lighten the wage bill, one of the highest in the team, and at the same time generate income that will allow strengthening different areas of the team. The plan is clear. Use the €70 million to reinforce 3 key positions that Flick has identified as priorities. Firstly, the left back. Although there are names that have met expectations, the club is looking for an option with guarantees, experience, and potential. Secondly, a defensive pivot who will serve as a tactical anchor, balancing the team in moments of disorganization or counterattack. And finally, a versatile forward who can play both on the sides and in the center, and who adds goals, a deficiency that weighed in decisive matches. But let's go back to Frankie. His time at the club has been a mix of unmet expectations and sporadic moments of brilliance. He arrived as a natural heir to the style of Hansi and Iniesta, but the circumstances were never the most propitious. He played under 3 different coaches in multiple positions and bore the pressure justifying a $1 million investment. Although he had good matches, he never managed to establish himself as the absolute leader of the midfield. Moreover, his salary became a significant burden for the club. De Jong was one of the players who signed a renewal with special conditions during the previous management, which has conditioned financial planning ever since. Although he was asked for a salary reduction in the past, the player remained firm, confident in his value and place in the team. Today, this same stance, added to Manchester United's interest, facilitates his farewell. And speaking of United, the English club has weighty reasons to go all out with a possible arrival of Ruben Amorim on the bench. A tactical revolution is on the horizon. The Portuguese technician does not count on Case Moreau, who will leave the team this summer, and sees in Frankie de Jong the ideal relay. His associative style, his ability to direct the game, and his vision from the first pass make him the midfielder that Amorim wants to lead his new project. Moreover, Manchester United has already tried to recruit de Jong in the past. In the summer of 2022, the English club made several formal offers, but the player refused to leave, convinced that his place was at Camp Nou. Now, the context is different. With the support of a new sports project at Old Trafford and the possibility of having a central role in Amorim's scheme, Frankie is more open than ever to listening to offers. His entourage has already started negotiations with the English, and although there is no agreement yet, everything indicates that the parties are very close to finalizing the operation. The player himself has understood that his cycle at the Blaugrana club could be coming to an end, and that this may be the ideal time to take on new challenges. The Premier League has been tempting him for some time, and the option of joining one of the biggest clubs in the world motivates him particularly. From the Jules point of view, this operation is observed with nuances, but mostly with approval. Many supporters understand that, although de Jong is a quality player, he has not been decisive and, beyond the affection one may have for him, the current times demand strategic, courageous, and rational decisions. Selling a player who has not fully exploited his potential for $70 million and freeing up a significant wage bill is a move that is seen as logical. Moreover, Flick wants to build his own team. It's not about getting rid of names on a whim, but about forming a team aligned with his playing vision. He has already done it with the German national team and Bayern Munich, and now he wants to do it at Camp Nou. For this, he needs resources, tactical freedom, and players who respond to his idea. And if this involves letting Frankie go, the club is ready to do so. From the club's entourage, the operation is described as a strategic sale. There is no feeling of loss, but of opportunity. De Jong is respected for his professionalism and commitment, but the collective good is prioritized. After all, the badge is above names. In parallel, Joan Laporta has already mapped out the roadmap for the revenues that will be generated. In the offices, the names of possible reinforcements that fit perfectly with Flick's idea are being handled. It is even considered to allocate part of the money to renew key contracts within the dressing room and ensure the continuity of young promises that represent the future of the club. Everything indicates that the sale will be officialized in the coming weeks. Manchester United is ready to conclude as soon as possible so that the player joins the preseason. At Camp Nou, they are preparing for a cordial farewell, without drama. Now, the word is with the fans. What do you think, Jules? Do you agree with Frankie's departure for $70 million? Do you think it's a wise decision at this time? Or do you consider that he still has a lot to offer and that his sale would be a mistake? The second piece of news concerns a very important decision for our club. Amidst the bustling summer transfer market, where rumors fly and European clubs attempt million-dollar operations to strengthen their squads, Barca has made a clear, firm, and resounding decision. Jules Kounde is not for sale. The French defender, one of the pillars of the Catalan team in recent seasons, has been the subject of interest from Newcastle, who are preparing an ambitious sports project with the economic support of their Saudi ownership. From England, they assure that the English club is ready to put an offer of €60 million on the table to secure the player's services. However, from the Jules camp, the response has been categorical. Hansi Flick, the new first-team coach, has blocked the operation and has clearly indicated to management that the Frenchman is a key piece in his football project. The German coach's firmness is neither capricious nor improvised. Since his arrival, Flick has insisted on maintaining a solid defensive structure, a weak point of the team at certain phases of last season. And in this structure, Jules Kounde has gone from being an important name to becoming indispensable. His versatility, ability to adapt both to the axis of defense and to the right flank, his physical strength, anticipation ability, and composure in high-pressure situations have transformed him into a fundamental player for the team's aspirations. At his age, the French defender not only represents the presence of the Jules defense, but also a future full of potential, leadership, and maturity. It is true that Newcastle's offer is considerable, and some might think that a sum of €60 million could alleviate some of the club's economic tensions. However, selling Kounde now would, according to many within the Barcelona camp, be a strategic mistake. It's not just about economic value, but sporting value. The Frenchman has proven to be a reliable footballer, committed to the project and the jersey, who has not hesitated to adapt to different roles to favor the collective. Moreover, his international experience, added to his youth, makes him an asset difficult to replace in the current market, where the prices of top-level defenders have skyrocketed. In England, they are not giving up. Sources close to Newcastle assure that the Northern British club is ready to increase the offer to convince both the player and Barca. Nevertheless, from the Catalan offices, the position remains firm. There is no intention to negotiate for Kounde, neither now nor later. The management understands that any revenue that could come from his sale does not compensate for the sporting loss that his departure would represent in a project that seeks to consolidate, wants to compete with the best, and regain its place among the European elite. Letting go of a player like him would be a step backward, and at this stage, the figure of Hansi Flick takes on special value. The German coach has been clear from day one. He wants a solid, fast defense, with clean ball play and hierarchy and aerial play. Kounde meets all these requirements. Moreover, his profile fits perfectly with the playing philosophy that the coach wants to implement. With him, the team has recovered essential defensive concepts, and greater cohesion in the block is beginning to be seen. Losing Kounde would break this balance that has been so costly to build during the first training sessions and have begun to consolidate in the preparation matches. The message sent with this decision is clear. Barca is not willing to part with its pillars, even if lucrative offers come from the Premier League. It doesn't matter if there are clubs ready to offer million-dollar sums. Not everything has a price, especially when it comes to players who have shown commitment to the badge, the project, and the group. In this new cycle, with a demanding coach and fans enthusiastic about what's to come, maintaining figures like Jules Kounde is fundamental to building a competitive, solid team with real aspirations. Many supporters, after hearing the rumors of Newcastle's interest, wondered if the club would end up giving in to the pressure of money. This wouldn't be the first time a key player left for a powerful offer. But this time, the club has decided to say stop. It's not about resisting out of pride, but acting with common sense. The priority is not to generate revenue, but to build a team capable of looking any European rival in the eye. And for that, players like Kounde cannot leave. From the stands, the news has been received with relief and enthusiasm. Many members and supporters have celebrated the decision as a demonstration of character and ambition on the part of the entity. Social networks have been filled with messages of support for French center defender, who, far from seeking media attention, has continued to train with professionalism, focus on improving every day and earning a place in the starting 11 of Flick's new project. His attitude, far from egos and spotlights, has deeply marked a fan base that values commitment and dedication above all. Throughout his time at the club, Kounde has made it clear that he wants to triumph at Barca. He has overcome complicated moments, reinvented himself in positions that were not his own, competed with humility, and set an example of professionalism on and off the field. His performance has only grown over time, and everything indicates that, with the full confidence of the coach, his level will continue to rise. Losing a player like him, just as he begins to reach his footballing maturity, would be a real contradiction in a project that seeks stability and immediate performance. It cannot be denied that Newcastle has economic arguments to tempt any player or club, but football is not just about money. It's also about a project, an identity, a sense of belonging, and sporting ambition. In this regard, Jules Kounde perfectly represents what Barca wants to be, a club that does not kneel before offers, knows what it has in its hands, and is ready to protect its best men to achieve collective goals beyond the figures on a check. Thus, with a decision not to sell him, the club sends a message of hope to its own. The era of weakness where any player could leave for a good sum is over. Now it's about building, looking forward, supporting homegrown talent, and trusting those who have already proven their worth. In this context, Kounde is not just a reliable defender, but also a symbol of a new, more serious, competitive, and ambitious stage. What do the Qs think? Do they agree with the decision not to sell Jules Kounde despite Newcastle's powerful offer? Do they think his permanence is key to the team's growth under Hansi Flick's orders? Or do they believe that a sum close to $70 million could have been used for other types of reinforcements? The third piece of news concerns a good opportunity for Barca and a significant blow to Madrid. Lucas Vazquez could join Barca for free and deliver an unexpected hit to Real Madrid. In a scenario rarely imagined by Spanish football supporters, Barca could be on the verge of delivering a blow with symbolic charge as powerful as it is unexpected. This is not about a high-profile signing or a young promise snatched from the white radar, but about an already established figure, a veteran, a symbol of devotion, sacrifice, and years of loyalty to the badge of the eternal rival. Lucas Vazquez, the 32-year-old Galician footballer who has developed almost his entire professional career at Real Madrid, could be very close to switching sides. His contract expires in a few weeks, and according to sources close to the player, he has no intention of renewing it. And what is most surprising is that he would view joining Barca very favorably. The news has shaken the emotional foundations of the Spanish classic, not because of the player's market value, but because of everything he represents. Lucas Vazquez has been an untiring soldier for the white team for more than a decade. He has never been the big star, but he has always been the player who, in the most complicated moments, stepped up to do what was asked of him, acting as a fullback, winger, tactical joker, or dressing room leader. Lucas has built a career based on silent effort, regularity, and consistency. He has never been involved in scandals, never demanded more than he deserved, and never shown an attitude that placed him above the collective. In a football increasingly filled with egos, Lucas has always been the opposite. And yet, now that he has decided not to renew his ties with the white club, everything seems to indicate that he is ready to accept one of the riskiest challenges of his career, wearing the Barca jersey. From his entourage, it is assured that the Blaugrana proposal excites him, especially due to the confidence placed in him by the German coach Hansi Flick, who considers that the Galician's experience and tactical profile fit into the playing model he wants to build. The arrival of Lucas would cost not a single euro in terms of transfer. The player would arrive freely, with the upper hand, ready to assume a competitive and committed role within the dressing room. At 32 years old, many might think he is in the final phase of his career, but the truth is that his physical performance remains notable. He is a player who takes care of himself, trains with intensity, has avoided serious injuries, and can still offer 2 or 3 years at a high level. His ability to play different roles on the field is a virtue increasingly valued by modern coaches, and Flick, who prioritizes tactically intelligent players, knows this perfectly. Now, beyond the sporting performance he can offer, his potential incorporation generates a series of mixed feelings among the Jules fans. It is not easy to imagine Lucas Vazquez being applauded at the Olympic Stadium, let alone cheered by fans who have seen him for years as an emblem of the rival club. His figure, as small as it may seem in the media, is deeply linked to Real Madrid. He has defended that jersey with pride, won important titles with it, and celebrated victories in the classics with sincere enthusiasm. Can he come to Barca and earn the respect of the stands? It is a legitimate question, because football is not only about tactics, physicality, and performance, but also about identity, history, emotions, and the bond between the player and the stands is not built solely with statistics. However, it is also fair to say that Lucas has never been a provocateur. He has never insulted the rival, never engaged in unsporting attitudes, nor used his status as a white player to generate conflicts or controversies with Barca. In this sense, he has been a respectful professional who has understood the greatness of the classic without needing to engage in absurd wars, and this could play in his favor. The history of football is full of examples of players who have crossed this line. Some have done so with more noise than others, but all have initially been viewed with suspicion. Some have ended up triumphing and being loved. Others have simply fulfilled their role with professionalism. The case of Lucas Vazquez could fall into the second category. He would not arrive to be the flag of a new project or the face of an advertising campaign, let alone an immediate idol. He would arrive as a silent worker, as someone who knows perfectly well what pressure, the dressing room, high-level play, and the demand to always win are. His role would be to add minutes, experience, rotation, balance, and presence in a group seeking stability to return to the top of European football. And it is precisely at this point that Flick's logic is understood. The German coach wants a balanced team with players who understand what is asked of them and do not generate more noise than necessary. In this sense, Lucas fits like a glove. He does not demand to be a starter, does not complain about staying on the bench, and always delivers when given the opportunity. Moreover, he knows Spanish and European football perfectly, which reduces the adaptation time in a team where every match can be a tactical battle. Having someone with his intelligence on the field can make the difference on more than one occasion. Now, the biggest challenge is not in performance but in acceptance. The question that a good part of the Jules fans ask themselves is simple. Is this signing worth it? Should we open our doors to a Madridista who has built his career defending another badge? Or should we remain firm on a romantic idea of the club that rejects someone who has been so linked to the eternal rival? Social networks are already burning with all kinds of opinions. There are those who, from a rational perspective, consider that it would be an intelligent operation. He arrives for free with experience, without astronomical contractual demands, and with a useful rotation profile. Others, from an emotional standpoint, categorically reject the possibility simply because they have seen him for years with another jersey. Both positions are understandable. Football is passion and logic, and often the two do not coexist well. But it must also be remembered that Barca is in a moment of reconstruction where each piece must be chosen carefully and where the club's economy forces intelligent moves. Incorporating Lucas Vazquez without paying a transfer fee, with a moderate salary and the full willingness of player, seems like a sensible move, especially if Flick believes in his tactical integration. The important thing is not where he comes from, but where he can take us. Moreover, in the current context where clubs compete with unequal economies and aggressive markets, finding players with experience and attitude at no cost is a rarity that should not be despised.